Well, again, I've said this numerous times. It's a process. We're in a growing process. We're growing each year. Our goal is to get better. I think we've appreciably gotten better from last year. It's a totally different situation, totally different vibe. I think the players grew, as we all did. I think I grew as a coach. But the most important thing is the continuation of that, continuation to get to the, and I've said that next step is probably the hardest for our organization to make. And that's our goal, is continue this summer, internally get better, and take that next step. And it's one of the hardest steps in sport that you can take, is to go from a good team to an elite team. And that's our goal, and that's what we're going to continue to work this summer, and starting for me next week, looking at tape, evaluating what we did right, what we did wrong, flushing out what we did wrong and doesn't work for us, and adding new ideas. What I'll do as a coach is I'll go to Europe and meet with different European coaches. They'll come over here, invite them to our summer league, and steal as much as possible. And that's what we're all are thieves as a coach, to get better. And that's our goal. That's our charge to do that.
Dwane, when you sit with Mazai in the next few days to go over personnel, would you suggest what kind of guys you need to play the style of basketball you want to play?
Well, the thing, Doug, I think the playoffs were a great indicator of the way the game is going. You got shooting fives now. You've got fives that are, stretching out to the three-point line, coming down in transition, not even going to the low post. And you're seeing that. It's a wing and point guard driven league right now. So yeah, we'll hopefully have an opportunity to look at our roster, and I know Masai has done that every year. He's been here, and look at it and see where we can improve. But most of all, there's guys here that can improve and do some of the things that we're looking at. I think Jonas's biggest challenge this summer is to continue to move his game out, away from the low post. I still say that in another year or two, he's going to be able to stretch out to the three-point line like these guys are doing now. Maybe not with the speed and quickness, but he still can get out there and shoot it. I look at Miles Leonard in Portland. He made that transformation. And Jonas has a great shooting touch. The way they allow people to bang and hit him in the post, it'll help. It'll help him to be able to get out away from the low post and shoot a jump shot, or even get to the elbow maybe next year and shoot a jump shot, and eventually migrate out to the three. No, I won't. No, well, I won't have. No, it's about the team. I'll let my agent handle all that. And again, that's the last thing on my mind as far as wanting to sit down and talk about that right now. I think that won't be the first subject that I hit on. It would be, how can we make our team better?
Obviously, DeMar will have a decision to make. He was just in here talking about the importance to him of things like loyalty and how connected he feels to this Raptors franchise. You've been around over the years. How rare are those qualities in a player?
Well, the thing about it, Josh, I really feel like, we had a special locker room. And I told the team last night, been coaching since 1979, and this is one of the special connected teams that we've had. Are we perfect? No. But as far as the chemistry, guys accepting the roles, their buy-in to what we're trying to do, we did so many different things throughout the playoffs. If they didn't buy in, we couldn't have gone 7 games against Indiana, Miami, whatever. But the guys accepted it. They bought in. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work. But the buy-in and guys accepting their roles were huge. And what DeMar is talking about, the loyalty to each other, the loyalty to the team, the loyalty to the accepting and embracing their role was huge. And that's hard to find. And some of that is continuity. Guys know each other. We've added a few pieces last year, but the guys that Masai brought in fit. And I think that's so important that you have guys, there's a lot of talented players out there, but you got to have the right fit. And that's one thing that we did. We brought a guy in like Luis Scola, who was a pros pro. You brought a guy in like Bismack Biyombo, who was a pros pro. You brought in a guy like Damari Carroll, who's a pros pro. And, Corey Joseph, was a pros pro. And all those guys fit. So I think that's what DeMar was talking about as far as the loyalty to each other and each other's loyalty to the team.
But for DeMar specifically, I mean, you've been here now with him for 5 years. How sincere is that connection?
Huge. No, if DeMar said it, he meant it. And that's one great thing, quality he has. He's a man of his word. He's a loyal guy. He loves this city. He loves the team. He loves the growth pattern that we've had over the last few years, and he's a big part of that. He's grown as a man and as a player over the last few years, and that's been a big part of our success is how he's gotten better, gotten bigger, stronger. I remember first got here and I looked at him, I said, "This guy's our starting 3-man," and how skinny, but now he's filling out. He's becoming a man. He has a man's body. So that's huge in what you're trying to do in this league. A guy like Cal, you watch a guy like Cal grow as a man, as a player. He's gotten better every year. He's turned himself into an all-pro. Why can't DeMar DeRozan do that? He can do the same thing as become an all-pro. And so that's one thing that I gave each player is little things they could do that bring back next year. And that's one thing DeMar has done. He's brought something new back every year he's been here.
Obviously, teams do turn over year over year, but do you feel like this year in particular, like there's an identity, there's a clear understanding of what the franchise stands for, what you stand for, so it should make it simpler maybe?
Yeah. That's a good point, Mike, and that's what you want to build, and that's what I think we've done, is building a culture first, a culture of here's what kind of team we want to be. We are. This is what we stand for. These are our rules and regulations. I'm not a big a rule guy, but we do have specific rules and things that we do. That are expected once you become a Toronto Raptor. And I think that's a big part of this league is the continuity, the culture you have, the program you have. Guys that are in it for to go through the process together, the journey together. But again, it's an identity that we built, a brand that we built of who we are, and bringing guys in is so important that fit that. And like I said, it goes back to fit, not only as a player, but as a person, a guy who embraces the country of Canada, a guy who embraces the city, the diversity of the city of Toronto. If you bring someone that doesn't fit, it doesn't work. And that's one thing Masai has done a great job of last year. He brought guys in that fit the city, the brand, the culture, the team. Everything. Even Jason Thompson, the guy we got at the trade deadline, fit, and came in and accepted his role. So all those things help build your culture, your program, and ultimately your goal is to win a championship. And like I said, we took a big step this year toward that. Are we there yet? No, but we're probably a year or two ahead of schedule as far as where we need to be. Well, one, Doug, it's an old corny rule that got a long time ago from Clem Haskins and also at Kentucky. At practice, you got to have your shirt tail in. And, the old thing is you play with your shirt tail in, you practice with your shirt tail in. And to me, that's discipline. That's individual discipline. It's a concert, yeah, it's a concert. Is that a rule? And that's also a rule. Your cell phone goes off or your radio goes off, it's a fine during the meeting. All those are quirky little rules not quirky, but those are disciplined cultural rules that we have. I have a thing before we even start a meeting. Your shoes are tied. You're dressed for practice. You're dressed for work before the meeting starts. You know, old thing. You know, you're talking up there, going across, showing film, and the guy's putting his shoes on, tying his shoes, putting his jersey on. How can he be listening and putting his you know, and having attention to detail, but while he's getting dressed? So all those are a little cultural, and you see, you know, when you walk in and you see everybody dressed, shoes tied, you know that, okay, we got something going here. You walk into practice, you may have to tell one guy, but most of the guys, 99% of the guys have their shirt tail in, or they just forgot. So those things are, you know, cultural things. They're small rules, but they're big rules.
Has it taken you a long time, the 5 years you've been here, to get to the point where everybody does that at the same time?
Yeah, not at all, because what happens is guys, even guys like Kyle, DeMar, those guys, they know the drill, and they'll whisper to the young guys, and again, it's about buying into the team. Another rule that we have culturally is a guy falls on the floor, you got to have at least 2 dudes to go over and try to help him pick him up. You know, that's team, that's caring about each other. You know, and if we have a situation where on a film we see a guy on the floor and nobody goes toward him, then that's a problem. We show that on the film and show the other 4 guys walking around selfishly without going to helping your teammate up. And all those are little things, but they're big things of building a culture, a team, and an identity of togetherness.
Well, you referenced Masai's offseason last year, all the guys he brought in, how everybody fit. I mean, you look at it this summer, and he's got the Lamar situation, he's got his situation, and then he's got to improve the team. How tough a job is that going to be this summer?
It's huge. That's huge. But Masai he's one of those guys that is quietly going about his job. I'm sure he's got ideas already about what he wants, what he wants to add to the team already, how he wants to handle Bismack, DeMar. I'm sure he's down the road already on that. Again, that's a difficult job. That's one of the toughest jobs for presidents, general managers to go through it, or, you know, those situations, because they're our future. It's important to us. So it's a tough job. I don't want to. That's why when I see guys want to be the head coach, general manager, president, that doesn't. I wouldn't want that a responsibility, because it's huge.
When Murray was in here, he mentioned his elbow, wrist, hip, ankle, coming back from the knee surgery.
Right.
Obviously, his first year here didn't go the way that he would have liked. But what did you see from him in the time that you did get there?
He's a tough guy. He went through a whole bunch of stuff. You know, first it was plantar fasciitis, his knee, and now it's his elbow. I told him, just met with him a few minutes, just get well, get healthy. We just got to have a healthy Damari Carroll, because that position, as you saw during the playoffs, is huge. That is a tough position. That's probably the most dynamic position in our conference. And for us to win the conference, that position has to be productive on both ends of the floor, the defensive and offensive end of the floor, for us to be successful and a healthy position. So, and that's why, you know, for our guys to go through what they went through, the injuries, you had guys like Norm Powell step in at that position in the Indiana series and was a hero. Without him, I don't know if we could have won the Indiana series, because of him stepping in and helping guard Paul George. So, you know, when guys went down, like Damari went down for, you know, a quarter of the season, you had everybody stepped in and stepped up and did their job and, you know, kind of fit in. So, you know, we need that position to be healthy.
We've got a couple of draft picks now as well. With this team, where it is in the process and the back end of your roster already pretty young, can you guys afford to add a couple more young players, or do you need some more
Well, that's something that I'm sure Masai will sit down and talk about. I don't know if a decision has been made on that, but again, anytime you can have draft picks, they're great assets. It's like gold. There's tradable, or if you keep it, there's a lot of good players out there. But again, that's something that's more of a Masai question more than anything else, Josh.
Coach, if you were to address the fan base directly following the support they showed, including last night in the effort, what would you say?
Well, a coach in the league called me last night after the game. I didn't even see it, talking about LeBron soaking up the crowd, and this is an opposing player soaking up the atmosphere, talking about the atmosphere that we had, and it just gives you goosebumps to hear the crowd. We were getting beat by a gazillion points, and they're standing up cheering for their team, and there's no place like that in the NBA. I mean, the atmosphere that our fans have built, good or bad, they're getting on us sometimes too, but it's unbelievable, the energy, the passion, the togetherness that they bring to the table that help pushes you through in those situations, 2 Game 7s that I don't think without our crowd we could have come through fatigue, whatever it was, to push the team through, the players through those situations. And they were the 6th man in those 2 Game 7s just because of their passion, the way they energized our players, because we never wanted to make an excuse through this whole thing, but you play a game day off for almost a month straight. Mentally as well as physically, it is taxing. And again, we put it on ourselves by not taking care of business in the Indiana series, Miami series, but our guys fought through it. But in both those Game 7s, and even last night, they tried to get us through against a great team of Cleveland. But they deserve a huge pat on the back. And like I tell everybody, we have probably the number one fan base in the NBA.
When Mar was talking, he was saying how proud he was to have been here for the tough times before all this. I mean, for you, you're one of 5 coaches who have even lasted the last more than 3 years. So how much does it mean to you to have seen where this team has come from?
It's huge, James. It's one of those things where you've seen the bad, the good. We're sitting in a new facility that we never thought we'd see. This program has come such a long way from day one to what I've seen now, the team. I remember I looked at our roster that we had the first year I was here. No disrespect to those guys, but totally different than the team that's here now, the growth. DeMar DeRozan's improvement, Kyle Lowry's improvement, Terrence Ross, everything, the organization, the players, everything has grown, and gotten better. And that's the way this league is. And so, again, it goes back to building a culture, a program, and Masai and the ownership, Larry Tannenbaum, George Cope, and Rogers have really, really committed to this program, and we're building something special. And it's not a finished product yet, but our goal is to win a championship. And I think now that our players have tasted it, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy coming back next year and duplicating the same thing. It's going to be tougher. But and I left the players with one thing, one sentence, and I said it to you: hard things are hard. And President Obama in the States, had that on his desk, and that is so true. Hard things are hard, and for us to make that next step, it's going to be hard. And that's what this summer is going to be about, is doing all the hard work to pay your dues, to be ready to come back in here next year to take that next step.
Kyle was so important to everything you did this year. He had that offseason last year where he basically transformed himself. What do you send him home with?
Well, one thing, Cal, is for him to get healthy, get his body back healthy again, go through the same routine that he went through this summer, which was tough. First of all, take some time off, rest his body a little bit, get back in his routine to go back where he was, get his shooting where it's consistent, where it was during the season. He was one of the top 3-point shooters in the league, and he'll do that. I have no doubt Kyle Lowry will be somewhere after he takes some time off and rest. He'll be somewhere working. He'll be back in Vegas working. But he has grown so much as a person, as a man, as a teammate. You know that I enjoyed coaching Kyle Lowry, and that's something that coaches wouldn't have said 5 or 6 years ago. And he's been a joy to coach. You even embrace it when he's in a bad mood, because you know he's ready to play. You know, and I go back to my horse analogies. Secretariat was one of the nippiest horses when they knew he was ready to run, when they had to put the muzzle on him. And so you know Kyle Lowry is ready to play when he's a little cantankerous and you know, a little acidic. But he was he willed this team. He was the engine for this team to go where we went, and I couldn't imagine our team being as successful it was without a healthy, productive, third-team All-Pro Kyle Lowry.
It feels like we only got a glimpse of Dwane Casey this season. You get to see him a lot more than any of us in practice. He was a field. What could we expect from a healthy Dwane?
Well, a guy that defends his position. You know, he's a guy. The reason why that Masai signed him was to guard guys like, you know, as well as you can, LeBron James, Paul George, all those wing athletic positions, Dwayne Wade, those guys when you're healthy, and that's what we can expect from him. And you know, get his 3-point ball where it's more consistent. And again, health has a lot to do with that. But that's the position, you know, that's the most dynamic position in our conference. And so that's why, you know, having him healthy is going to be huge for us. And I want to say this, you know, thank you guys. You know, you've been great. You know, you've been fair, good and bad. You know, you got on us when we needed to be, and you didn't when we, you know, you were very balanced, and you know, I thank you for your coverage, because again, you know, you're part of the coverage for the team, and you know what our you're the messenger to the fans, and you've been fair, balanced, and again, you got on us when we needed to be gotten on, and you were fair when we weren't. So thank you guys, and see you next year.